Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, I'm stealing your hand. That's right, I'm taking all of it. Why? Because we are playing Infernoble. Infernoble is a deck that is, well, okay, it's technically just warrior combo, I'm not gonna lie to you, but it ends on some Infernoble cards, and specifically utilizes Smoke Grenade of the Thief in order to look at your opponent's hand and say, that one, and rip the card out that they would most use in order to beat you. And just immediately stopping that. So, let's quickly do the card by card, and I'm going to show you this build as well as a second build, and I'm literally just going to go through this very, very quickly. So, the idea is to summon Isolde, or Isolde, I don't know how to say this name. Isolde allows you to, on summon, search a warrior, but then you can't use it, and also, it allows you to dump a certain amount of different named equip spells in order to summon a level... a monster with the same level as the number dumped. So, we dump 4, and we summon out Armageddonite. Hence why we're playing a whole bunch of really bad cards. So, there's that. We dump 4, we summon Armageddonite. Armageddonite is going to dump either Zephyros or Summoner Monk. Zephyros if we need an extra material, and Summoner Monk if we don't. We use the Zephyros to bounce something like an equip spell that we might have in hand, which we can actually search an equip spell off of sending the Cursed Bamboo Sword, which also chain blocks, which is very cool. But we bounce something, special summon this guy, go into Dugaris. Dugaris' second effect allows us to special summon from Grave, so we summon back the Armageddonite, which is not a once per turn, activate the effect to dump the Summoner Monk, and then we then have enough materials to go Akashic Magician with the Isolde and the Armageddon, and then we go Akashic Magician into Selene. We do need the Akashic Magician just because of the requirements to summon it, and it being a spellcaster, to then go into Selene, which we can then, it will always have the necessary materials in order to summon back the Summoner Monk, which then gets us to discard something like a Broken Bamboo Sword that was re-added to the hand off of a Zephyros in order to go into Apollosa, but more specifically, with the Summoner Monk, we can summon out Ferret. Ferret, with 3 different link arrows to summon to with the Apollosa, can summon Beast of the Pharaoh, hilarious, Plague Spreader Zombie, okay, pretty standard, and Vylon Sphere. That's right, Vylon Sphere. Vylon Sphere allows you to equip United We Stand, that we dumped earlier off of an Isolde, in order to equip it to your Apollosa to make your Apollosa big. On top of that, we also have the ability to synchro into a wide variety of levels, such as level 4 for your Cupid Pitch, level 5 for Infernoble Knight Roland. We can also go into several level 6s, basically ending on Charles, which rips a card out of your hand with Smoke Grenade, which we dumped off of the Isolde. Borreload Savage, with 3 negates, thanks to Selene. Baron, we all know Baron, as well as a huge Apollosa, and then, I don't know, like a Beast of the Pharaoh, or sometimes in another build we also end on something slightly different, but I'm going to do this one real quick. So, yeah, we can end on this. We can also potentially rip another card out of their hand. This should theoretically be an X-Saber Gothams. Let me show you. This card, much easier to summon, just a tuner and a non-tuner, and one or more Earth non-tuner monsters. So basically, you just summon this pretty easily with like Beast of the Pharaoh because it is in fact a Earth. So you go into Coral Dragon, you go into this guy, you summon this guy, and then you just tribute him off in order to rip another card out of your opponent's hand. Very nice. We could also play Trish, which is a little bit more difficult to summon, but if you do summon it, you basically get to rip another card out of your opponent's hands as well. So there's that. I'm still not the best with this deck, so yeah. Let's quickly do the card by card. 1 Vylon Sphere, 1 Squeak Knight, as well as the 3 Sublimation Knight to go with it. We have triple Renaud, it's kind of a free summon. We have triple Fireflint Lady, it's kind of a free summon. We have ourselves the 1 Plague Spreader. We have the double Maxi to, you know, deal with Crossout, as well as sometimes it's useful. Realistically, we can also cut this card due to the fact that it's not very good to actually draw cards. We don't actually want to draw cards. Most of the cards are kind of hard to garnets anyway, so there's that. We have 1 Catch Eve level 2, or L2, which is used in the combo, which I'll show you later. We have 1 Aqua Dolphin with the 3 Connector. We have 2 Beast of the Pharaoh, because drawing 1 it's a hard garnet. We have the triple Drunk Forward. We have the triple Ash Blossom. We have triple we already said that. We have the 1 Summoner Monk. this is kind of a hard Garnet as well. We have ourselves the one Armageddon Knight and the one Zephyros. Armageddon Knight, if we could play more, we would. We have the triple Photon Thrasher as just a free summon. We have double Rescue Ferret, again, a hard Garnet. We are playing the one Ogier, the one Oliver, and the one Gearfried, because all of these are technically searchable, and they all kind of do different things. Oliver is here to equip to your Charles during the end phase to make him a little bit more resistant. That's basically it. Gearfried is very nice. You can add him back off of something like an Ogier dump in order to have another monster negate on the board, which is very nice. We have the one Nibiru as well as our crossout target. We have one, for the spells, we have one Rhoda. We have a triple Heritage of the Chalice. This card just basically adds something like a Renaud or an Ogier or something like that. It's very nice. We have one United We Stand. We have one Smoke Grenade. We have one Bamboo Sword. We have one Cursed Bamboo Sword. We have one ARF. This card is very nice if you're playing against like back row heavy decks. You equip it from the graveyard, and then you like pop a back row. It's very nice. We have one Living Fossil and triple Durandal. Durandal is also another way to search out a monster, which is very nice as well. We're also playing one Magical Midbreaker Field, double Called By, one Crossout, and double Evenly Matched, and double Infib. For the extra deck, we are playing one Martial Metal Marcher, one Cupid Pitch, one Roland, one Stardust Charge Warrior, one Coral Dragon, one Borreload Savage, Trish, Charles, Baron, and one Dugaris as our only Xyz monster. And then for the links, we have one Akashic, double Isold, one Selene, and one Apollosa. We don't really have space for anything else, so there's that. Let's hop into the duels and show you how this one performs, and then I will show you a second build, which was specifically designed for the Chronicles, the Duel Chronicle. So, yeah. Alright, real quick, before we continue on with the rest of the video, I'm super close to reaching 10,000 subscribers, and I'd like to reach it by the end of the month. If you guys are at all interested in the content, consider subscribing. I have something special planned for the 10,000 subscriber special, so stick around. Alright, so here we are going first, and we have full combo with just Sublimation Knight, but I'm gonna get greedy. Realistically, what I should do is just add ourselves the Fireflint Lady. It's just the better option. But I'm greedy, so we're going to go for the Neospace Connector. And the reason for this is because Neospace Connector is the best normal summon. It allows you to grab the Aqua Dolphin. An Aqua Dolphin is going to pitch the Cursed Bamboo Sword, because it's funny, in order to look at the opponent. That was Outlich, baby. No monsters! Normally, you go Aqua Dolphin to, like, rip a card out of their hand, which is very nice. But we gained Hand Knowledge, so now we know what we are going up against. We're going to go for Isold, we're going to add the Fireflint Lady, and then we're going to dump 4. Technically, there are 3 cards that matter here. The Cursed Bamboo Sword, and the United We Stand, and the Smoke Grenade. Cursed Bamboo Sword is used to search out the Broken Bamboo Sword and to chain block the Armageddon Knight. Now, granted, we've already used this, so we just send the ARF and the Durandal. We shouldn't send the Broken Bamboo Sword due to the fact that we want to search it normally off of the Cursed Bamboo Sword. Got it? Cool. Anyway, Armageddon Knight comes out. We're going to send the Zephyros. We're going to activate our Equip spell and then bounce it back to hand with the Zephyros in order to gain us 2 level 4s. This allows us to go into Dugaris. Dugaris' second effect allows us to special summon from the grave the Armageddon Knight. Armageddon Knight sends the Summoner Monk here, and now we have enough materials to use the 2 warriors to go into Akashic Magician. On summon, it returns monsters it points to the hand. That's it. That's all you need to know. It's a spellcaster. That's the only reason we're playing it. Then we're going to link those off into Selene. Selene is the main combo line. We kind of need to make this because this gets us to Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk then summons this guy, Rescue Ferret. We discard a spell, we summon out the Rescue Ferret, and Rescue Ferret says, shuffle this card into the deck, special summon monsters from the deck whose total levels equal 6 to your zones a link monster points to. Now, notably, we want to summon 1, 2, 3, not just 2. So we're actually going to link off these 2 monsters into an Apollosa so that we have the 3 link arrows. We're then going to summon Sphere, Vylon Sphere, Plague Spreader Zombie, and Beast of the Pharaoh. If you've never read this card, read it now. Basically what it does, when it's used as synchro material, it brings itself back. Not once per turn, just forever. So we are basically going to use this guy as our non-tuner for basically everything. It's very solid, and it's very nice. On top of that, Vylon Sphere can equip itself to the Apollosa, which will then use it to equip another monster, or an equip spell from the grave, and then Plagues is Plagues. So, we're going to go into Cupid Pitch. Cupid's Pitch is also insane because it's going to bring its level down 1 as well as giving us access to a 6, and then when it is synced off, it allows us to search a card, and a very specific card at that. So we're going to bring back the Beast of the Pharaoh, we're going to draw a card, and then we're going to search out Catch Eve 2, or L2. This card is kind of weird. So we're going to go for the Catch Eve level 2, and we're going to special summon it, and then by modulating the level of our Pharaoh in order to make it level 1, allowing us to use the level 2 and the level 1 to go into Martial Metal Marcher. Now the Beast of the Pharaoh will bring itself back, and the Martial Metal Marcher will bring back the Plagues to give us access to a level 8. Utilizing the level 6 that we previously had on field, we go into the Borreload Savage. And then we use the Martial Metal Marcher and the Beast Pharaoh in order to go into Coral Dragon. We'll then bring back our Beast of the Pharaoh, link those two off into the level 9 Charles. Coral Dragon and Beast of the Pharaoh in order to draw a card as well as special summon. Draw into Ash. Fantastic. We're going to put a card back from our hand in order to go into Plagues. Plagues is then going to use the level 3 in order to go into Roland. Roland effect is just going to search during the end phase. And then we are also going to go and special summon back the Beast to give us access to a 10. Beast of the Pharaoh is then going to bring itself back one more time. And then Violent Sphere will equip that United We Stand that we sent earlier to an Appaloosa, making it 5,600. That's a lot of negates. It's quite a lot. I know. I understand. We also have Infip for some reason, so there's that. But this is where things get interesting. During the end phase, we equip from the graveyard the Smoke Grenade of the Thief to the Charles, as well as from the deck the Oliver. Oliver protects our monster from being targeted. Great. Fantastic. On top of that, when a card is equipped to a monster, even during the damage step, destroy a card on the field. First of all, non-targeting. Also, it's during the damage step, which is really cool. But the main important thing is we can destroy Smoke Grenade of the Thief. So we activate that, pop the Smoke Grenade, look at the opponent's hand, and rip a card out of their hand. I happen to rip Conquistador because it's at 1. And yeah, that is the main combo. We're ending on the Baron, the Borreload, the Many Negate Appaloosa, and the Charles ripping a card out of the opponent's hand. Very solid. Very few decks can play through this because it's multiple Omni Negates, it's a look at their hand, etc. We're also going to add the follow-up from the Reynald, and my opponent concedes, realizing that the game is over. Alright, and this is the Theme Chronicle version of this deck, but it also ends on a slightly different board that is still absolutely insane. As you might notice, we have Naturia Beast and Naturia Barkion in here, and yes, we end on Spell, Trap, and Monster Negate, just like at infinitum. So there's that, and we're still ripping a card out of our opponent's hand. So there are some minor differences, but it's still a very similar combo. One thing to note is that we are not playing as many synchros. We're playing more Link monsters, such as IP Masquerena and Unicorn, so we can also end on like an IP Masquerena into Unicorn setup as well, which is very cool. So we're adding in an additional Violent Sphere by taking out the Reynald. We also put in Roland here. Our other summon instead of Plague Spreader is actually Pashul, so that we can gain access to the Naturia Beast as well as the Barkion. And then instead of searching out Cat Eve, we're searching out a Synchro Magnet that is a tuner and level 3 and an Earth, and it special summons itself when a Synchro Summon occurs. So you Synchro Summon into something like Charles, this guy special summons itself, and then the Beast special summons itself, and now you have Barkion as well. So that's kind of the difference there. Another inclusion is we're playing more Magical Midbreaker Field. I threw in Terraforming mostly as a bait, because you can't actually use it with the Magical Midbreaker Field, but yeah, it's mostly just there to like bait out Ashes. Then we're also playing, instead of other such cards like Evenly Matched or what have you, we're playing Shade Brigadine, which is also another really good option. It's a level 4 warrior, which could either go into your Dugaris or, more likely, your Isold. It's just a free summon, so there's that. Everything else is pretty much the same. The combo's the same. It's just the same. So let's quickly hop into the duel and show you how this deck ends its combo. Alright, and here we are going first, and hey, look at that! Neo Space Connector, you love to see it. This is why we play 2 Beasts of the Pharaoh as well. Drawing it is just a death sentence. So, we're gonna go, well, okay. Yeah, we're gonna take the challenge. We drew the Cursed Bamboo Sword as well, which isn't the greatest, but it's fine. We're actually going to pitch the Beast of the Pharaoh, and, ooh, my opponent is on Megalith. Luckily, we can hit the full out of their hand with our Aqua Dolphin, but, more importantly, this is actually pretty good for us. Megaliths rarely play a lot of hand traps, so we can pretty easily play through this, I would imagine. They have a lot of hard once per turns, specifically on their summons, so if we negate their summons, we should be fine. And at the end of the turn, we get to look at their hand and potentially rip whatever we need to out of it. So I'm feeling pretty good, and with this, we're going to end on a permanent, just like a negate all spells, and negate all traps, but that doesn't matter nearly as much as the negate all spells. So I'm feeling pretty good. We also are going to end on like a gigantic Appaloosa. So I'm not really too scared here. Out comes the Fire Flint Lady. This is just to, I don't know, potentially deck them out. Maybe, who knows. Anyway, we're going to add the Gearfried here as additional follow-up, and then we're going to dump 4. And since we already have the Cursed Bamboo Sword, there's no point in dumping that one. We're going to go and dump the Zephyros, equip the Cursed Bamboo Sword, bounce it back to hand, and then go into our Dugaras. Go for the Dugaras here, summon back our Armageddon Knight, and use its effect to dump the Summoner Monk. Link off into Akashic Magician. You've seen this before. Go and special summon into our Selene. Selene effect will activate, and we will grab ourselves the Summoner Monk that we dumped so long ago off of the Armageddon Knight. Summoner Monk is then going to send the Cursed Bamboo Sword, which will then search out our Broken Bamboo Sword, and we will go into the Rescue Ferret. We're then going to link off into the Appaloosa, and then we're going to activate the effect of our Fire Flint Lady in order to summon the Sublimation Knight, because it's funny. And then Squeak Knight, you know, why not? Out comes the Ash. Eventually they had something, right? But it didn't matter because we already had the Appaloosa at this point. So our Rescue Ferret will resolve, and we will go 1, 2, 3, and out comes the Pashul, which is pretty interesting. Hopefully they didn't need to utilize any of their spells, because now they are locked out of them. We're going to bring back, go into the Cupid Pitch here, and now we can go and activate its effect in order to decrease its level, and at this point you've kind of seen what's going on here. However, instead of going for the Stardust Charge, we're instead going to go for Coral Dragon. I'm just going to do this now because in case they have Nibiru, it's nice to have a higher attack point monster. But yeah. Now we're going to special summon the Beast of the Pharaoh and search out Synchro Magnet, which happens to have 600 defense. So then we link off the other 2 monsters into our Infernoble Knight Charles and go for the Synchro Magnet. We're going to special summon the Beast of the Pharaoh and draw a card. Heritage of the Chalice is funny, but doesn't really do anything. We're going to go for the Barkion here. We're going to special summon out the Beast of the Pharaoh, and then we're going to search out the Renaud, link off into IP Masquerena, special summon the Renaud, activate its effect in order to add the Living Fossil back to hand because it's funny, and then pass the turn. So we currently have a 5600 Appaloosa after already using one of its negates. We have Charles, which is about to rip a card out of the opponent's hand. We have infinite negates for traps. We have infinite negates for spells, and we have IP Masquerena potentially to link into a Nightmare Unicorn to spin a card away. We also have Gearfried as follow-up, which we can use to just get another 3000 attack point monster onto our side of the field. However, our main phase 1 is skipped, so there's that. But at this point, the game is pretty much over. We're going to equip the Smoke Grenade of the Thief, and wow, look at that hand. Just so many. Look at all. They are down to 9 cards in deck, by the way. Sure, you know, you really do need that Pot of Extravagance, right? So I look at their hand and I go, they have 2, count them, 2 monsters currently that can ritual summon anything here. It's Phaleg and it's Bethor. Both of them are hard ones per turns, and they only have the 1 Phaleg. So I decide to get rid of the Phaleg there. Okay, now my opponent is going to attempt to play the game. They go for the Bethor. I say no. And they go, okay, what about Talismandra? And I go, yeah, sure, that's fine. So they summon out Talismandra and Pensaplume. Pensaplume effect is going to add back, that's right, the card we just discarded. But that's okay because we will just negate the Phaleg. They'll activate the Unformed in Chain, thinking that I won't be able to negate it, to the which I will then negate it again. And then they will activate the Called By, and I go, yeah, that's fine. And then they will activate the Maxi, and then they will chain the Ash Blossom. And at this point, I realize, oh, they're just conceding in a very fancy way. Honestly, props to this player. They sat through the entire combo, and now they're going to concede in a very interesting and funny way. They're going to go to battle. I'm going to tag out for the Nightmare Unicorn to deal with their back row, because, I don't know, I can. Out comes the battle phase, and they are going to walk in and, you know, OTK themselves. Good. Look at all those cards. Look at all those cards. Hilarious. So we are back with the deck, and in all honesty, this deck is just criminal. There is no way that we should be allowed to do this. It's just hilariously obnoxious, and specifically because of this card. Smoke Grenade of the Thief, being able to rip a card out of your opponent's hand, but more importantly, look at your opponent's hand and actually see what the heck they are playing so that you know what you have to negate and play around is insane, and one of the main reasons to actually play this version of the deck. Right, if you really want a whole bunch of negates or something like that, yeah, sure, you could just play Adamantipator. It's more consistent, it's stronger, it has better going second options. Block Dragon is a house. But if you play this deck, which is basically similar to things like Wind Up or Adamantipator or what have you, where it's just combo fest, you end on Smoke Grenade, which is the main reason to play it, right? Also, just any two warriors being able to do this is absolutely insane to me. Like, Isold is a stupid card. I guess technically Armageddon Knight is a stupid card, being able to dump non-once per turn any dark monster to the graveyard. It's kind of dumb, but Isold is crazy. Just being able to go and summon a monster from deck for basically free is insane. So, there's that. Honestly, this deck is, one, very challenging. Even though I have a lot of experience on it now, I've played it for several hours, I still am not even close to knowing what's going on. Two, this deck is very, very fragile. If Isold gets like stopped in any way, you just kind of die. Most people don't know how to stop the card. They think, oh, stop the link summon effect instead of stopping the send effect. So there's that, or I guess the special summon from deck effect. So there's that. But if anyone does know to Ash that or to just impermit or what have you, you just kind of die. You can't really do anything. Also, going second is a nightmare. But yeah, all in all, this deck's really cool. It has two different variations that you can play. You don't even have to play necessarily a 60-card version. As you saw, the 60 cards is basically here just so that we don't draw our Garnets. Like, that's actually why we're playing 60. So, you know, there's that. But the deck's still consistent. Like, I didn't really have too many issues getting to Isolde. It was more so getting from Isolde to the rest of my combo. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Also, I do want to shout out the player iPhones, because he is the one who actually came up with both of these builds. If you want to check him out, go to duellinksmeta.com, type in Infernoble in the top decks. Both of the two that are from him are this version and the other version, and they're both insane. He has some replays on his account as well, which is also linked in the Master Duel meta, that are just insane. So shout outs to iPhones, the GOAT with this. Truly a very fun deck, and I'm so glad that he came up with it. Also, Rescue Ferret, shout out to this card. What the heck? This card's crazy. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, a like is very much so appreciated. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.